Okay, now we have our finished spot illustration. In order to save it as a spot illustration and not just a flattened internet image, we have to turn off all those background layers. And we just save it as a PNG. To the desktop. And that's what you would upload along with your sketch and your line work to the class photo bucket. And so we'll get there. But there are some other things we could do as well, which I'll show you with my little primer file here. Because we can keep pushing this further and further. So now, what if I want, my final image, let's say I really like it with the color holds right here. Let's see. The only image I don't want to flatten is the line work. So let me do this. All right. I don't really need any of these anymore, but I'll leave them there. So now I want to do even more with the digital coloring, with the color hold, which almost looks like a digital painting, except for the big difference whoops, that it exists behind a real or implied outline. That outline was a major part of it to start with, even though it got modified. So now, what else can I do? Well, it depends on the background behind it. Right? So if I select all this background, well, I'll make it easy. I'm going to bring the line work over. Put it on top. And that's the other big advantage of vector line work, is you can always use it as a helpful selector. I can select around it, especially if it's closed off. So select around it and then erase. Right up to it. So this is using a selection kind of as an erasing stencil. And it's how I cleaned up around the Putin illustration. So now as I erase kind of that overflow yellow painting to get back to a clean outline, I can use my vector to do that. Whether it's an overlay color or not, right? So let's say that this overlay is a gradient. These layer styles can really help with this, and that its color is more on the orange-green side. Like so. That combined with a gradient, and I can make the gradient a color too, by the way, will really help kind of turn it around. And I can change the angle of the gradient as well. Right now it doesn't quite match. Let me fix that. There we go. Let's see. Those layer effects can really, and that just that color hold can really change how it all reads. Okay, so that's the color hold. Now, if the background around it all of this white space is a different color, like black. Whoops. Select inverse. Like having that black shadow, kind of a cast shadow. I shouldn't have limited it to that size. Let me try that again. Whoops. Okay, so what if you want to put this spot illustration in a magazine that has dark pages, or you want it on a t-shirt that could be different colors selected by your clientele? You have to think of the background. And you want this lemon to really showcase itself on this background. So what do? I'm having trouble here. Nope. So never mind that mask. I have too many layers. I'm trying to be too clever right now. Think what's going on. What did I do? That's why the history is nice. Okay. So you have it like this. Now you might want something to offset it so that you can really show off the lemon. So that's when I use the line work layer. Which I've lost track of a little bit. Let's find it. So here we go with our line work. Let me make a duplicate of that. I'm just going to change it up so we can see it clearly. And we can take that same layer and we can make it an overlay behind. So instead of a black fill or a black line work, we can make it white. We could even give it a drop shadow and make that drop shadow white instead of dark, and change it from multiply to screen mode. And we can kind of spread it around and offset it at whatever angle we want, and then run it behind our outline. So the advantage of that, this is showing kind of that offset, is no matter what that background color is, the line work will still be really visible by having that offset around it. So on Putin here, if I have them on a black t-shirt and I really want those lines to show up stronger, even though they already have a color hold, I go to my line work, make a duplicate of it, yet again. Move it behind all the coloring, all the other line work, just on top of the backgrounds. And replace it with an offset color. So I'm going to use white, because that's very obvious on a black background. And then if I just grow that line selection, holding down Shift and Option out from the middle, it's like giving it a sticker's edge. This is kind of a hard edge offset. And that helps it show up on black t-shirts or middle gray shirts or red t-shirts, you know, a little bit more strongly. If I want to control that offset a little bit more, I do the same thing, but instead of a color overlay, I do it with a drop shadow that I make white. And I set it to screen mode instead of multiply. Screen mode lightens, multiply darkens. And you can see how that's kind of a soft-edged offset. And if I make size, it will grow on all sides. Then I can play with the opacity, make it stronger, make it less opaque. Because soft edge always goes with opacity as well. And I can set the angles. And that will help him show up. So I have those two different options. The crisp edge, more like a sticker. The soft edge, more like a drop shadow. And that will help on all the different kind of backgrounds. Except white, because white is the color of my offsets. I can do both together. But I tend to like kind of make stronger decisions. So I'm going to go with this one. But they're all in there in my file, so I'm going to save that. And now the last option we have, we're doing so many things, is I can take all the colors of this lemon. I'm going to have to combine them together, I believe. Nope, don't like that. All right, so I take the color of this lemon, and now we're going to play with what's called printing and halftone separations. Because right now this is shown with millions of colors in the computer, and each pixel is a blend of red, green, and blue light to give us a very exact color. But when it prints, it's going to print with very basic inks. So as an introduction to color separation, I'm going to keep it all as one separate demo that I'll do next, but I'll show you in practice how it can work. So if I turn off all these backgrounds, and I go to the top and I hold down Option and I say Layer, Merge Visible, I'll have everything in one layer on the top. I can turn off every other layer that makes up my spot illustration. And now I want to play with color separating this, and I've already created an action for it. It's under Carl's Customized Effects. Rather, it's right above Carl's Customized Effects. It's Carl's Color Seps, and I'm going to do CMYK full run up. That's cyan, magenta, yellow, black, full run. I'm going to rasterize the vector. I'm not going to merge the layers. Actually, I will merge the layers. And unfortunately, I should have closed this and saved it first. But we'll see what that process does when we get back to the next demo.